Hey guys, King Kaiju here. Today we're going to be reviewing a Ultraman monster, and as you can probably tell by the setup, yeah, it's a Kaiju review sort of thing. And his name is Thunder Killer. Now, of course, let's start out with detail as always. You can probably tell this guy is a combination Kaiju. If you're familiar with the Ultra series, there's probably at least one or two of them that are pretty visible off the top of your head. However, we'll go through them all. This red center here is supposed to be Ultraman Belial. The gold parts around his entire body, including his head, are supposed to be Ace the Killer. And pretty much everything that is not that red chest and gold-plated armor is meant to be from the Kaiju Ella King. I don't have any of those three Kaiju that I mentioned, but still, I think it's a really, really cool figure. It's got a lot of cool details all over it. The thing that I don't really like, though, about it is that it is a Spark Doll figure, which, if you're not in the know, essentially means the paint is kind of lacking compared to a lot of the other standard Bandai figures. If I raise up his arms real quick, you can see that his legs have these large black stripes. Well, these are supposed to go all over these little crinkles and cracks in his body, but they actually don't. They just kind of go on the front and nowhere else. Not even on the arms, which, if you can look closely, you can see they do have cracks in there, but it doesn't really ever show them. He does also have some black paint in the neck area, and that's also really nice, but still, I would have liked more. The gold armor also has some places where, like, the paint could be a lot better. Under his chin, I know specifically, it's just gray. That's a little bit disappointing, but overall, though, it's not too big of a deal. You don't ever really see it. Still, though, I would have liked more black stripes on it, but the paint and detail, other than that, is really good. As for articulation, he's pretty simple. He's got 5 points. His arms can move up and down. They can't move 360, and keep in mind that the shoulders here are going to kind of collide with his back armor. So there might be some paint scuffing. I don't know 100%. I do know that this arm, it doesn't really happen too much, but this one, it definitely does. So keep that in mind. The legs can also move. They can move 360. They are a little bit weird looking, especially from the side. And the head, it can rotate. You can do it 360, but I don't really recommend it. It is a very, very weird rotation joint. It isn't perfectly circular. So I would say just kind of rotate it a little bit. 5 points though, not too bad. I would have maybe liked if the tail or maybe this large hand right here were articulated, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Of course, we can now move on to sizing. And because this is a Spark Doll, this means these figures are larger. So compared to a 6-inch Bandai figure, it's of course not going to be that big. Thunder Killer, though, does go alongside well with Godzilla Kaiju. And I actually happen to have one on hand. Kiryu. Now, Kiryu is another newer Kaiju that I got. However, this one will be reviewed later. This Kiryu right here was released in 2018, so it's up to the standards of, the movie Monster series and all that fun jazz. It's a 6-inch figure nonetheless, and it works fine. And compared to Thunder Killer, of course, it is a little bit smaller than him. It is kind of shorter because this guy, again, DX, Spark Doll line, these guys are usually about 7 inches. So yeah, and of course, even like looking at it from side to side, you can see that Kiryu here is not nearly as big or wide as Thunder Killer. This guy is definitely going to take up a lot more shelf space. We're going to go for a standard Ultraman Kaiju this time around. A very, very retro one at that. Antlar. Antlar here is, again, another new Kaiju I got, and we'll review him soon enough. But Antlar here is a little bit shorter than, the usual. He isn't too tall. So compared to, Thunder Killer here, obviously, he's going to be a little bit, small. However, I think they still look pretty nice together. And, of course, Thunder Killer would kick the crap out of him. But, oh well. It's a fun Kaiju fight nonetheless. And I also have another new DX figure that I also very recently got. So we'll show him off too. Although he isn't really the best example for showing the size of these guys. Earth Gamora. Earth Gamora here, like I said, another DX Spark Doll figure. And these guys, again, very large, but this one is a little bit shorter. He's more in like the 5.5-inch range than the 6-inch even. But still, like I said, compared to Thunder Killer, he is kind of roughly about the same width. And you can definitely tell that these guys are a little bit more chunky and massful Kaiju. Again, just showing you another example of a Spark Doll. But I think that's all I have to say about Thunder Killer here. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next review. Maybe it'll be one of the 3 Kaiju that I just showed. maybe it won't be. But anyway, we'll end the review here, and we'll see you all in the next one.